Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 921. I am your host, Matrix Lloyd 212, and I'm with Connor. What's up, Connor?
Hello.
What's up, Mike D?
See it.
All right. So what are we going to start with, Connor?
Diego Luna, who played Cassian in Rogue One, has been cast as Montana in Scarface, Tony Montana.
Rogue One.
So they're going to remake it from the Al Pacino one, even though that was a remake of a previous one.
Yeah, Howard Hawks did the original, and Brian De Palma did the sequel with Al Pacino.
Yeah. So
it's going to be like a modern day version, or is it going to be like a retelling of kind of like what they tried to do with the De Palma version with Pacino being an immigrant?
it's going to be Pacino's, a reboot of the Pacino one.
But I mean, is it going to be set modern day or like Pacino's?
Modern day.
Okay.
Is this the one where Leonardo DiCaprio is being cast as Scarface, or he's going to be cast as
No,
Scarface?
he's going to be in it,
Yeah.
but he's not going to be Scarface.
Oh, right, okay.
Right.
Now, were they doing that to like cash in on the whole cultural thing with, you know, like with the rap hip hop sort of surgence in the last several?
I don't know if they're going to do that shit. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I don't know. Certain things you can't remake, like you can't remake The Godfather. Scarface, I don't know, man. I'm not crazy about that. I don't even know if I would go see that. Would you see that?
I'm just thinking about it. I'm wondering if it's going to be something that's going to even show up in the theater, or if it's going to be like something that just pops up on Netflix.
Well, no, it's not supposed to be a little shipbreed thing. It's supposed to be a big Hollywood production.
Yeah, but those go to Netflix. Like, you know, I've seen posters at the theater that are like, hey, coming soon, and they show the preview with big name leads, and it never makes it.
I don't have any interest, I guess, in this. Just like I wouldn't have any interest in Godfather reboot. You know, even a Godfather 4. I don't know. I mean, 1 and 2, that's it for me. But then again, they keep rebooting everything, so it's only a matter of time. What else do we have, Connor?
Ben Affleck may well be giving up on Batman completely because he quit directing the standalone thing.
Yeah. DC Cinematic Universe is a friggin' mess. Like, beyond a mess. And nobody is like a set person to say, like, the Marvel phases. There is no phases. It's like, you want to have a Catwoman movie? You want to have a Harley Quinn movie? You want to have a Joker movie? Hey, Will Smith, you want to be Deadshot? For no reason. Oh, let's have Shazam. Oh, but let's have Shazam's villain, The Rock, have his movie for no reason.
Black Adam.
Yeah, like, does anybody want a movie? Here you go. We're Warner Brothers. Here's money. No, like, there's no direction. There's the villain of Justice League is Iron Man 1's villain. Jeff Bridges is Steppenwolf. Or is he Dark Side or something? I don't know. But they hired Jeff Bridges to be the villain of Justice League 1. Like, and he was in a Marvel movie already. So, like, that Marvel DC rivalry never ends. They're trying to get Ryan Reynolds to be the Green Lantern, even though he's Deadpool. There's no direction. They don't know where they want to go. They're doing Man of Steel 2 because they're scared that the other stuff ain't going to pan out. They tried to do a Suicide Squad thing. That didn't pan out the way they had hoped, but they're still doing another Suicide Squad. And now they're giving villains movies for no reason.
It seems like instead of Jeff Bridges, if you're talking about Darkseid and you're mentioning The Rock, it seems like Dwayne Johnson would be more of like a apt Darkseid.
You would think, but he's Black Adam.
That Black Adam Shazam thing, that character's never been a sort of like character that would really be utilized for like any sort of film or anything. I mean, that's why they haven't really touched it by now.
I mean, when you were little, did you ever have a Steppenwolf figure? Do you even know who Steppenwolf was, like a villain? I don't even know who the fuck that was.
Well, the Superpowers action figure set that you're talking about or referring to, I'm aware of the character through that, with like the New Gods, Darkseid, and all that.
But I knew Darkseid, but I mean, I remember Super Friends, and I even had the Superpowers figures, but I don't know who the hell Steppenwolf is. I had no fucking clue about a villain named that. What kind of stupid name is that, too, first of all? Nobody's going to be interested in that shit. And how do you have a Justice League movie when Superman's dead? Like, how are you going to promote that? Oh, yeah, he's dead and he's going to fight us, and then he's going to be in the Justice League at the end. Yay. That's stupid.
Seems like a mess. I mean, maybe they never really, in fact, I don't believe they've done it at all, done like Brainiac and do something like they did with the Terminator, where they have like a metal exoskeleton and have Brainiac in his non-green form, but his robotic form, and do something with that, where they just, I mean, if you go to like a superhero film, what usually draws people in is it's going to be the action, the special effects, so give them that. Give them all of that, like, eye candy of, like, buildings falling down and all of that kind of shit, because that's what people go to see superhero films.
There's no plot. I mean, Batman's branding iron people, like, torturing people. And then Ben Affleck's dressing up as Batman for kids' parties, and then he sees his son probably with a branding iron. He's like, oh, shit, I made a mistake. Yeah, I think so. Oh, cool, Batman shoots people on the street. Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, and it gets really dumb. I mean, Superman dies immediately. Like, he didn't even get started and he's dead. Now you're going to have a Justice... How are you going to do a Justice League movie now? You're going to have them fight Superman. That's what you're going to have them do. He's going to be evil. It's going to waste the whole damn movie. The villain is going to be this big in the movie because the big thing's going to be Superman as the villain. And then he's going to join the Justice League. And then it's done. Wonder Woman, I heard, is a mess. That they're scared. So they don't know what direction to go with their cinematic universe. Ben Affleck ripped apart Batman because he said the script sucked ass. And he's not going to direct a script that sucks ass. And then he got pressure on him, and then he dropped out as director. And then today he dropped out. Supposedly he's dropping out of everything. That's the rumor. And then to add to the drama, they add Kevin Smith. Are you going to be the director? And then it comes out that him and Ben Affleck are not talking for 5 years. That's more drama.
What was that for?
For some reason, they asked him, Kevin Smith, because he's directing The Flash, he's directing Supergirl, he's directing Arrow lately, he's writing the episodes too, I think. So they said, well, you did a couple movies with Ben Affleck. Are you going to direct it? And then it comes out that I guess Ben Affleck just stopped talking to him for 5 years.
Well, I think I had read something a little while ago that he was wasn't Smith a bit negative about his view of Ben Affleck as Batman in that film? But I mean, that hadn't been 5 years ago. That's been recently.
I mean, he wasn't Daredevil with them. He played the doctor that was like going through the dead body or whatever the hell thing was. So, and it was after the J-Lo thing. So I really don't. I mean, could Ben Affleck just be a jerk and just stop talking to people? I don't know, but that obviously came out. So that's a mess. And he says absolutely not, because he said the last movie he did was Yoga Hosers, which that explains a lot why he's not going to be getting the Batman direction job. But
Yoga hoses, okay.
Yeah. I believe it or not, I saw some of it, so it was pretty.
I saw a clip.
Yeah.
I think they had that on like Comic Book Men. They had like one of their episodes was centric to that Yoga Hoser film, and it just looked like sort of sort of a vanity project for like his daughter to star in, and I think Johnny
Yeah.
was one of the girls in it.
Well, she appeared in Supergirl in the ones he did a couple weeks ago. So, or 2 weeks ago. This is other thing, right, Connor, about Connor left. Damn. About people want to boycott Marvel Comics. Now, again, this is the stupidest article you could have. This person wrote a whole article trying to paint a picture that Marvel Comics are Trump supporters. Which, if you heard everything show I talk about how I'm livid that they're Hillary supporters. And they made Trump a supervillain, MODOK, in the damn comic. So obviously this writer has no idea what the hell they're talking about. Because if you go on Twitter and you see all these writers of Marvel, they rip apart Republicans and Trump and stuff. So I don't know where the hell they get this crap to boycott Marvel. But I just have to say, stop the stupidity. Because if you know anything about Marvel, it's mostly Democratic. Pretty much.
Well, the thing to point out, though, I mean, about the whole like Trump Republican thing, as far as the comics are concerned with politics and stuff like that, the majority of the Republicans weren't even for Trump, and Trump isn't even a Republican. I mean, he was the nominee, but I mean, he's not a real Republican. I mean, he just kind of like utilized that political platform to kind of rise to power on, but he's not a traditional sort of Republican by any means. And I mean, something to be said too is I'm not affiliated with either party,
right?
But I tend to see this whenever people tend to bring up partisan politics, stuff like that. My personal opinion is I don't really like my issues with Trump and whatever. Since you're talking about the topic, are not based on Republican or Democrat. It's I have a particular disdain for what Trump's done and what he stands for. And so, I mean, as far as the comics are concerned, with like reflecting,
I just think politics needs to stay out of comics. You don't spend $4 for a comic book to read that Captain America is a Democrat, like the Falcon, and you have to see political garbage in there. You're not going to buy. You want to watch a movie to escape. You want to read a comic book to escape. You don't want to have boring shit in comic books. And Marvel has taken a stand that they're basically Democratic, which I'm pretty pissed about. Because I don't really feel, from a marketing perspective, you have to limit yourself to announce what you are, and it should stay out of comics. It's like these companies come out for some reason, and you have like Starbucks, and they gotta say who they love, and who they're for, and what they want to do, and we at Starbucks is gonna hire 10,000 refugees. First of all, shut the fuck up, because basically you should be hiring 10,000 Americans or veterans or whatever. And who the fuck asked you? Just sell coffee. But now their stock is going in the toilet, and now people are boycotting Starbucks because people are opening up their mouth. And that's the thing. It's like all these companies need to shut the F up. Because they're going to end their company, basically.
I feel the same way about Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby, because they have been openly against gays.
Right.
And I mean, I'm like you. I think people should just shut the fuck up and sell a chicken sandwich or sell coffee. Right. I mean, if that's the product. But I mean, comics are art.
Well, let me continue with that too. Target started that whole shit with here at Target, you don't have to worry because everybody can use the bathroom.
Yeah.
We have is not men and women, and they fucked up because their shit went in the toilet, and people are like, no, my daughter's not going to go in the bathroom with a guy. Sorry.
Well, the media creates like non-issue issues to like report on,
but
these
companies are trying to put themselves out in the media for some stupid reason. And announce what side they're on and shit. And as who gives a shit? Really? Who gives a shit? Pepsi Cola. Oh, we want this one. Who gives a shit? Don't do that, because when you do that, all the people that, if you're a Democrat, all the people that are Republican are probably going to not go with you. Or if you're a Democrat, depending, because some people will do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, if I want to go to buy a product, right? Say I want to go to Target. I don't want to fucking hear who they vote for. I don't want to hear what shit. I just want to go buy shit.
Well,
You know?
the thing with all of the particular examples we're utilizing in this conversation are, we're talking about people who are being exclusionary of other people versus people who are being inclusive. Like you mentioned, Target, they're wanting to be inclusive of transgender people as opposed to like Hobby Lobby, which is trying to be exclusionary. So that is the issue that I have a problem with, where I have no problem of voicing an opinion on, because, you know, if we're there to sell a chicken sandwich, I mean, just sell a chicken sandwich. I don't exclude my clients based on what their political or religious affiliations are. I mean, they're a client, you know.
As far as this should have rights for gay and lesbian community, yes. As far as the bathroom goes, that causes a whole new problem where people don't want their kids to use the bathroom. And then you see stuff in the news that people get raped and stupid shit because people are abusing the policy. Now, from what I understand, I heard, I have to confirm this, that Trump did away with the Obama law about the everybody could use the bathroom nonsense. So as far as I know, that's wiped. I have to look into that. But that was just the stupidest.
So, yeah, I mean, where's the evidence that this occurred? That's the problem, is that you have fake news that comes out where they're reporting on non-issue issues, like I said, where there seems to be a lot of...
There's a fake news article that says that Trump is golfing somewhere. I mean, while he's working. He's not on vacation. He's not on vacation anywhere. So, for 2 weeks. So, I don't know what the hell they're... You got to watch with the fake news. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Well, yeah. A lot of the problem is, though, a lot of people are looking at it the other way when you have legit news that's actually reporting on legit things and actually reporting on what Trump says out of his own mouth and his own actions, because that's not fake. That's like just showing what the person's doing themselves.
Right.
So, but I mean, like, as far as like I said, I mean, I don't care about party. To me, like, it's about being exclusionary or including people. And when you have a company that's standing on a platform, regardless of what it is. I mean, if it was a company that said, hey, we don't want to serve Christians or conservatives or Republicans or whatever, even on the other side of things, I would be against that. I mean, I stick up for people's freedoms, and I'm all for, like, just like the protesters, you know, these people, I mean, they run the gamut from being whack jobs, extremists, to people who are just out there. I mean, I know personally quite a number of people that have taken part in the protests that there's nothing more American than protesting. And it's funny is that they're flag wavers. They wear the flags. They get the flag bumper sticker on their car. But then they're on Facebook, like, saying, you know, oh, these people, you know, screw them. They're protesting. And these people are just showing their ignorance, because that's the whole point of, you know, living in a free country, is being able to protest things.
Right.
But at least stick to the facts. Because, I mean, you know, you did have people, you know, I mean, with Obama, with Trump, I mean, you have people that get so swept up in the fervor of
people are wishing death on anybody that voted for Trump, which is really fucking stupid, first of all, because
that is stupid.
Plenty of times people voted for Obama, and that's not a lot of people's cup of tea either.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, you're going to kill people that voted for Obama. I mean, that's stupid. Why don't you just...
I personally don't know anybody that's wished death on someone that voted for Trump. I mean, I personally have issues, and I don't want to bore people by citing them, like, where I have some issues with some of the reasons people give for why they voted for Trump specifically. And again, I wasn't for Hillary. I mean, I have my issues with her also, but I think that when you hear, like, some of the reasons they're giving, they're quite based on ignorance by far, factually. It's got nothing to do with, you know, a lot of times when people have the need to have to believe something, it oversteps the facts of whether or not they should be believing it in the first place.
Well, regardless of whether you voted for Trump or Hillary, right? The problem is that I've never seen this, where people really want a civil war or some type of thing where they don't want to be friends with people on Facebook anymore based on who they voted for. I mean, that's dumb. That's really stupid. I mean, they don't want to...
what's funny is I've posted some things on Facebook calling out some things factually, and I've had some Trump supporters unfriend me, which is fine because the collective intelligence level of my Facebook page has only benefited from that. But it is silly that people unfriend because I can be very highly opinionated, of course, as you know, and people know. But the thing is, like I can address the facts of the matter, but if someone in the stark face of reality and facts can't address the facts themselves and are just like coming forward and going, oh, well, you're stupid because you voted for Trump or you voted for Obama or whatever.
I'll never say to anybody I will never say to anybody that they're stupid for voting for Hillary or Trump. I would never do that. Okay?
Well, if they say the primary, if they posit the reason why they voted for X candidate was because of this one thing, and the thing that they're admitting that it is based on is complete ignorance, I have no problem at that point after you've shown someone the facts, you discuss the facts with them, and they're in denial about it. And, I have no problem at that point just going, well, obviously you're ignorant of what we're talking about. And I mean, it's not like blasting someone. It's just stating a fact. I mean, because, a fact is a fact, regardless if it comes out of your mouth or mine or whoever, the guy down the road.
So the problem is that people that didn't vote for Trump honestly believe that they're going to get him impeached. They think that, they have say, they're going to get what they want. No, I mean, let's just say he did get impeached, right?
I don't think that's why they're protesting, though. But I think that Trump's probably going to do a pretty good job of getting himself in trouble. But I don't
think that's going to happen at all.
Well, I mean, we're about 2 weeks into it, and the guy, really is.
People are going into shit. I know already.
Well, in my opinion, and based on facts, I think that there is a lot of problem there. I mean, even his own party are freaking out about shit, and some of the stuff that he's done, and just the overall mentality. Of like some people. I mean, I've heard people that were trashing Obama. It's like these same people who think that Obama's a secret like Kenyan Muslim are the same people who think Donald Trump is a Christian. I mean, that ought to tell you something. I mean, this is the mentality of these people.
The main thing is that nobody wants America to fall. Nobody wants our country to go to shit. And if anybody does, because for their political party, that they're not really American in the first place. Like, we want him to be successful because, if he's not.
Let me ask you a question, okay? I'm not setting you up for anything. I'm just asking you a question because I guess because I'm trying to make my point, I guess, clear to you and the viewer here. You're more Republican, I would assume, conservative. Is that correct?
I have voted Republican lately, yeah.
Well, I don't
know about conservative. I mean, my thing is that I'll vote for the person who I feel is qualified. If it doesn't have to be Republican.
Well, my question would be to people, because I find this more than not. I like to ask them, but when they try and make it about a political party issue, they keep saying Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. When the people I know, it's not about that. It's about the individual. It's about Trump. And if they are Republican, I would ask them, can you still be someone who supports your party as far as the ideology that party puts forth, or ideologies, I should say, and still have a problem? Hold on, there's a back end to this question. Can you still be affiliated with that party, but really have a problem with the individual who happens to be in the White House, regardless of the party? Because that's where I'm at. I don't really.
If people had a problem with Trump, right, it wouldn't necessarily mean that they're Democrat. They could be Republican and not like his way.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean they're a bad Republican. That doesn't mean they're a bad Democrat. So it could be that individual.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm saying a lot of people. You got to remember the majority of Republicans were against Trump. Even the people that are kissing his ass now, trying to look, trying to get their part at the trough to eat from, that he's in power. But those are just politicians. That's what politicians do. I
guess if I answer the question. I don't think I can answer that I'm with one set party. This election was a different thing. If it was about Hillary or Trump, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you could say, I could say with 100% certainty that I'm full blown Republican.
I mean,
You know?
I would say that I know a lot of Democrats, and I would say that if Obama was running around talking about grabbing women's crotches and flat out lying and doing some of the shit that's gone on with Trump, that they would still be a Democrat, but they would be completely opposed to Obama. And there have been those sort of Democrats. I mean, I know people that were for Obama, and yeah, I mean, it runs the gamut with things, but I clearly see Trump largely based on, sometimes it's hard to disassociate myself from what I do and my skill level,
Right.
what I do with profiling and with looking at risk assessment and stuff like that with people.
Right.
That Trump is clearly a problematic person, based on that, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's where I have a problem with him. It's got nothing to do with Republicans. It's
And
not.
that's fine. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't mean that you're any less of a person than I am or whatever. We're both equal. You're allowed to not like. But my point is,
if somebody happens to like someone who, and I'm not equating Trump by saying this, so don't mistake what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm using as an example. If somebody happens to like a politician who is like, let's say, like openly a racist, like they say, whatever, black people suck, this group is shit, we need to exclude these people, whatever. If they happen to be that sort of politician, then I have no problem not respecting them or their position, because I find it disgusting.
Yes.
So if someone's that way, I'm merely reacting to what I'm hearing and seeing from them rather than, and that's not party based. I mean, I know people that are scummy, that are like,
there could be stuff that he does that I don't like at all. And, that's just the way certain things, nobody's perfect. But, I mean, something could change, and I could be completely against him. But, right now.
We do know, though, when people are confronted with facts and confronted with, like, logic and reason, psychology tells us that most people double down and they entrench themselves stronger within whatever their position is, rather than going, oh, you know what, that's a good point, or I'm wrong. That we know that from basic psychology that people do that.
Well, I'm not. Look, if a person's wrong, like if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean, and I say I'm not going to be talking about politics on the cast. I mean, we're supposed to be talking about the thing, but I went off tangent. But,
I mean, politics today is very, it's very important what's going on with our country.
You know what it is? Politics, especially in the YouTube world and all this stuff, it's like very dangerous to talk about because people just are not open-minded. Well, they say, "Oh, you voted for this one, you're a scumbag."
Well, I agree with you, because I mean, most people, and this is probably going to be controversial, or it might sound like something shitty I'm saying, but I don't really care because I know it's the truth. Most people, their intellect is kind of like just base. Like they're just kind of like living. That's the level of their intellect. They're not that intelligent. And people are easily played. They're easily duped by whatever political party or whatever ideology there is. We know that. Most people are not like adequately informed about the facts, regarding any topic. Right. So, when you're talking about things, when people dismiss things and say, well, you shouldn't talk about religion or politics, that's how we learn from each other about things, is that I don't care about the people who don't want. Like when I debate people and talk to them, either professionally or just, out in a group setting somewhere, like at a coffee house, just having like a friendly debate, moderated by people, because I've done that many times. When you discuss things, I don't even care if the person I'm talking to, I know will never change their mind. It's about talking to people who are on the periphery, who are listening, and they're going, hey, this person makes a good point here, or that person makes a good point there. And it gives them the comfort level of not having to directly be involved in the debate, but they can actually, as I said, go, well, that's a good point, or that's a good point this person made, and it could, influence for themselves, because I don't care about, I'm not out there like trying to push buttons to make people go, oh, I'm wrong, Mike's right, or whatever. It's about, trying to teach critical thinking and looking at things in a way, like you said, where you're not looking in a partisan way at a party. And, one of the things to me that I used to be more conservative leaning. I tend to be more, I've always been more socially liberal, because I just believe that especially if you
See
live.
me, I can't. I hate any mention of stuff like that, like labels.
Yeah,
Like
as
you
you
have to
are.
be conservative. You have to be. I just don't associate with like, what are you? I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah,
I don't like.
if you're all conservative or all this or all that, that tells me that you're one of the people I spoke about before that just fits in a box. And to me, like the reason why I tend to lean a little bit more liberal is because issues that are very important to me, like progressive thinking, civil rights type stuff, women's rights. I have a problem because the Democratic / liberal side of things tends to be more progressive minded these days than the Republican Party, and I've had an issue for the longest time that the Republican Party's been shanghaied by the conservative right, where they've like interjected now religion into their political party, where now
Well,
it's like.
I assume you're going to be talking about abortions.
Well, I was going to say that that's one of the things is that abortion and gay rights.
That is a topic is because again, religion, like our beliefs, is going to affect our decision on that.
Well, it's not though, because when I say liberal-minded, that's open-minded, and open-minded to me is if someone doesn't believe in wanting for their own life or the life they share with their partner to engage in a particular act like an abortion, let's say, then don't have an abortion, but don't take that away from people who don't happen to share your political views, because not everyone ascribes to any particular ideology. And to me, that's where the parties where I do pay attention to each party is because one party tends to be wanting to take choices away from people and basically tell them how to live their life to a certain degree. And they're wanting to manage people's lifestyles and their lives, whereas another party is more understanding of saying, hey, I think that the best person to decide what's best for their particular life or their relationship with their partner or whatever is in their own home, under their own roof, and not having, a political party with a particular religious ideology to come in and tell them what to do in their bedroom. And that goes for more than even abortion. No one's putting a gun to somebody's head and telling them that they need to get gay married. No one's forcing someone to be gay. No one's forcing someone to go have an abortion and put a gun to their head. But I mean, there's a lot of ignorance out there, especially with stuff like Planned Parenthood, where Planned Parenthood offers so many services to women who really need it. And like, because of the media, they're focusing on it's something like easily less than 10%, and it's way less than that, of what Planned Parenthood deals with are like abortion, quote unquote, services. There are a lot of women who benefit from going to Planned Parenthood. And the other thing is they
don't have the money. So that would be a benefit to them. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have something like that?
Well, because they make it all about abortion. And I understand that they have an agenda, and I understand that they believe very strongly about that. But I can believe as strongly as I want. Let's say if I'm a Muslim and I say, well, I have a problem with your Christian beliefs that you want to have a choice about, but I'm going to force my ideology onto you of my religion. That's not right. I mean, everyone needs to just chill and if
practice their own religion and not interfere with each other.
Because I'm not picking on Christians here, but I hear a lot of because we live in America and it tends to be more of Christian based as far as the ideologies of these people in our current day and age. They're talking about Muslims and Sharia law and all this other kind of stuff it's very radical, but then they don't pay attention to their own religion and how it's actually affecting policies and laws that are being passed in our country every year. And
you can't say all Muslims are bad, and then all of a sudden, I mean, you have something like an American that goes to the airport and shoots up people who's with the military.
Or you can't say all Christians are bad because Timothy McVeigh blew up a building in Oklahoma and he's a Christian who's a far right person. Yeah, I mean, there are extremists. And the thing about living in a free country is that people are free to practice their religious ideologies. But the thing is, your right to practice your religion ends, basically there's an example that's stated about it ends at the end of your fist when it's hitting my face. I mean, when no one's oppressing your religious beliefs or ability to practice your religious beliefs when they're infringing upon my right for freedom and my own choices in my life as another American. And I think even people, I'm an atheist, so I'm not coming from a particular ideology religiously. I just think that I laugh equally at all these groups who are kind of like, well, I'm going to make this group, bow to this or that. And you see it with like school prayer and things like that, where they're like, we need to bring God back to school, all of this stupidity that these people espouse. And it's like, okay, well, what God are we talking about? And then it gets into a problem because they're like, oh, well, I just need my God, prayers for my religion. And like, I know recently it's been I've been reading something about how they had an invocation where they had basically the city council, they had people come and recite like a prayer, or a member from like a particular group of people. And they had people from like the Church of Satan decide that they wanted to have an invocation at the beginning.
Oh, I saw that.
And it's like, it's silly to me because I lump them in like with all the other groups. But, as far as like just being a silly club that want to have their say and everyone else not have theirs. But these people were freaking out that were saying, oh, well, this is, from the devil and it shouldn't be allowed and all this stuff. It's just the base mob mentality of like trying to gang up on some other group that's not particularly in your group. And, we need to hate this group and that group because they're not like us.
Right.
And
we live in a crazy world. We live in a crazy world where I heard the story that priest came out or something and said that anybody who's against Trump needs to jump off a building or something. I'm like, how the hell do you say shit like that? If you, it was that just on the news.
Well,
today,
the Pope's recently spoken out about Trump again.
I don't even know why this happens.
Well, I mean, I've got my opinion about that whole thing about the pedophile mafia of the Vatican, but it's kind of ballsy to me sometimes when the Pope comes forward and talks about stuff, and they're like the worst bit of corruption going in the Vatican. At that
I don't think the Pope should say anything about Trump. I think he just needs to do his own thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to take seriously a guy with like a 3-foot tall hat, pajamas, and pointy shoes that's like telling you about, I mean, he's a man just like you or me. It's just a guy, the guy, he doesn't know what goes on after you die. He's just pulling shit out of his ass like everybody else. And he's a politician. He's just using a group of people and exploiting their need to believe something like all religious leaders do.
It's a crazy, crazy world we live in lately. Crazy. And it's more hostile than ever before, unfortunately. But get back to the stupid thing about boycotting Marvel Comics. First of all, before you write a stupid article, know that that couldn't be further from the truth when it comes to Trump, especially since they made him a supervillain. So I would love to have a conversation with that writer because I don't know what she's reading or where she's been. Because all you need to do is go on Twitter and just pick a Marvel writer. All they're talking about is bashing Trump. So I don't know how they would have it that Marvel is pro-Trump. But anyway,
well,
that's just me.
The arts tend to lean towards liberal Democrat rather than conservative Republican anyway. I mean, in like music, acting, they tend to lean that direction anyway. So
I don't want to go into Starbucks tomorrow and find out that Starbucks has an anti-Trump cup. I mean, just make the damn coffee, please. It's just so stupid, literally. Well, and I unfortunately I do know some people that have flat out said that anybody who voted for Trump, they should die, horrible death, that they should this, and they should that, and they actually said stuff like that. It makes me cringe.
Well, those are just
when I see
people. Those are the same ones that say Obama's a secret Kenyan Muslim that's trying to take over the world with reptilians from Planet X. I mean, you got...
Oh, yeah, I heard that. It's a stupid other thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, have open mind, people. That's all we're saying on this cast today. open mind. Don't want to kill somebody because they voted somewhere. That's like saying, "Hey, I eat pizza, so I'm bad."
Yeah, but have an open
To a vegan or something.
There's a caveat to that though, which is have an open mind of facts. You know, don't what was that expression, or not expression, but phrase that the Fourth Doctor said in Face of Evil to Leela, where he said that the very powerful and stupid share a commonality. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. The very powerful and very stupid share a commonality, which is they take the facts and have the facts fit the outcome that they want, rather than going where the facts lead them and establishing the outcome at that point. So, you know, regardless of what party it is or whatever, just as an individual, don't be afraid to question your beliefs or where your position is. Because I used to, just speaking for myself, I'm not throwing anything out there in anyone's face. I happen to be a Christian. I studied theology, Christianity, the Bible for like at least 30 years or more. And I mean, I got into it when I was like 12 or 15. And so, I mean, I'm like 42 now. So, I mean, it's been the majority of my life. And I got out of organized religion because I realized I was believing things that I really did not believe. It was just more of like, well, this is kind of, you know, what regionally, geographically, where you're at, maybe being influenced by your family and tradition, you know, that you go to church, to a certain denomination of church or whatever. I just realized I was believing things for bad reasons, and I learned critical thinking and learned, when I say critical thinking, that's an art. There's a way of looking at the material and being able to discern fact from fiction and ask, where's the evidence for this? Where, you know, and being an atheist, it's not a denial of something. It's saying, well, where's the evidence? And if there's not evidence that actually does not fall into a hole of like a logical fallacy, such as the common thing is people say, oh, well, you know, you look around at the world, how can you not believe it was created by a god or something? And that's like the worst fucking logic fallacy I've ever heard from anybody. And it is so easily shot down that
I find it funny the guy thinks that the earth is flat. So
you know, I mean, I'm willing to entertain listening to somebody, but I hear somebody says, hey, I'm a Christian. I don't shut them out. I mean, I listen to Christian radio Monday through Friday, believe it or not. I listen and I hear these fallacies repeated, and I hear the bandwagon sort of propaganda that everyone, they do this politically, theologically too, that they tend to surround themselves with people, and they live in a bubble where they basically just want to further indoctrinate other people, either politically or religiously, into their ideology. And they don't want to be around conflicting ideals or conflicting ideas because they want to further support the bubble that they're living in. So they tend to be exclusionary of people who ask questions or just have discussions with people if they see that it's starting to like threaten them on their level of maybe creating doubt in their head about things.
Probably be open-minded.
Because to me, at the end of the day, what do you believe and why do you believe it? So,
right.
I mean, I don't really care what someone believes necessarily, but if they can't put forth evidence for why they believe something, that's not an opinion. That's just like, evidence can be independently and it can be verified through other people. It's not just anecdotal evidence. I mean, like I could tell you I got abducted by aliens last night and they flew me to Mars, but you probably wouldn't believe me, right? So that's not evidence. Me telling you and swearing up and down that happened. So, it's like, let's look at this. So to me, it's the historiosity of the claim and the validity of the claim based on evidence, as we know. You look at things that way. So, but a lot of people, they don't want to put that kind of time or effort into things, especially if it's going to conflict with the pre-existing bias that they may already have to want to lean one way or the other, like in politics or theology. But, in my family have always been Democrats, and I always hear my mom and dad growing up talking about how the Republicans are bad, so therefore I'm going to be a Republican and hate Democrats, or I'm going to be a Democrat and hate Republicans. And there's a lot of people that they just want to remain latched onto that teat that they grew up with, that they've been suckling from, instead of actually going, hey, you know what?
Have your own opinion.
I'm going to spend as much time entertaining oppositional views because I may be wrong about something, and that actually benefited me greatly to be of that sort of mindset because thankfully my dad brought me up to question things and to just not be happy or satisfied with just saying, oh, okay, well, this is just kind of how things are because it's tradition. My parents did this, or the area, I live in America, so I'm a Christian and I'm better than the people in the Middle East because they're just a bunch of dirty ragheads and they think Americans are the great Satan and they're over there. I mean, not everyone, of course. I'm playing the sort of general ignorant mindset of people who just, it's so easy and the majority of people do this. I mean, to a degree, everyone sort of does it. And I mean, myself included, I have to stop myself sometimes and go, wait a minute. It's easy to want to just believe this. I need to verify the facts, even if it's in the face of something that I may go, well, I don't think that's true, or I think I want to know if it's true or not. And it's okay.
Right, you seek out the truth.
And the important thing is, if you don't know and you can't verify it or can't verify it at the time, it's okay to say I don't know. And that's what being an atheist is too, is that I have no evidence for God, so it's I'm not going to just start making up things and say, well, I don't have the answer to this, so therefore it must be God. I'm going to say, well, I don't have the answer for this, and there could be a God, but until there is evidence of that, that's not just like the sort of evidence that can easily be tossed out, then the default position is to just say, well, I'm not going to be an adherent to a particular religion because there's no evidence posited for a God. It's all based on very bad logic.
Right.
Because I mean, if you think about it, I could easily say magical leprechauns created the planet, and I would have just as much validity as the people that say that this God did it or that God did it. So, and you would laugh at me if I said, well, magical leprechauns did it, and I could come up with a book that says that the magical leprechauns did do it, just like other holy books, and it doesn't prove anything. It's just completely, whether you make your mind up and go, well, I'm just going to accept this because in my mind, this is what I want to be true, or this is what I've been brought up and indoctrinated to be true. And a lot of it's indoctrination. A lot of people, that's why they get the kids when they're a young age, in church, and they kind of pump them with the stuff. And they're not meaning to be bad. They're just teaching tradition. I mean, if people, it's like a lot of people don't even know, like they hang up a stocking for Christmas on the chimney, or they'll put mistletoe up over a doorway or something, and you ask them, do you know where that originated from? And they can't tell you. It's just tradition. And a lot of people, that's what they do, is they replicate the tradition of their parents who replicated the tradition of their parents. And it's
and
just,
they don't know what it really is.
Yeah. So to me, it's like we can disagree on opinions based on things, but like, let's tackle the evidence. Let's tackle the facts of where did this tradition come from? And then from there, we can go, well, based on what we know about where this tradition came from, do we now have a better understanding and maybe a different opinion about like, well, this isn't what I always thought it meant to stand for. And a lot of our traditions that we have, Easter, Christmas, are very historically not Christian whatsoever. Pagan, Celtic rituals, winter solstice, things like that. I mean, Easter's like taken from the fertility goddess Thespera. That's why you have the symbol of eggs. You have Easter eggs because it's a symbol of fertility, and it's a fertility goddess. And you have rabbits that are associated with Easter.
Well, all that stuff we could go into at some point, because I don't want to go off topic totally.
Yeah,
so we'll be here all night. So, but on that note, it's been very interesting. And we're going to go for now because I got to go to work. So I got to go to bed. So thank you, Mike D.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, bro. Take care. Bye for now.